Hello everyone. Today we are going to do chapter 1 of class 9 science, that is matter in our surroundings. So today it is our lecture 3 of chapter 1. In previous lectures I have explained you that matter is something which occupies space and has mass. Then I have explained that matter is made up of particles, and then I have explained that the characteristics of particles of matter. So students, today we will know about the two terms. First is rigid and second is fluid. So let's understand these two terms. Rigid means unbending or inflexible. For example, this pen. I am trying to bend this pen, but this pen is not bending, and this pen is inflexible also. See, I am applying the force on it, but still this pen is not flexing. So a stone, a pen is rigid because they are unbending and inflexible. Now what is fluid? Fluid means a material which can flow easily. For example, if I am putting this pen here, then it is not flowing, it is not moving. But if I will put some water on the top of table, then it will start flowing, right? So fluid means a material which can flow easily. And if you want to store the liquid, or if you want to store the fluid, then you have the need of vessel or a container to keep it in that, right? If you want to store water, then you cannot store water on the top of table because it will flow. But if you will put this water in any container, then you can store it. So from here it is clear that rigid means unbending or inflexible, and fluid means a material which can easily flow. And from here we can see that solids are rigid because solids are unbending and inflexible also, as I have told you by giving the example. Now see here, a solid is a rigid form of matter. Due to their rigidity, solids have tendency to maintain their shape. So this is the pen. It is the pen, and it is a solid because it is unbending and inflexible, and it has maintained its shape. And when I am applying the force on this pen, then also its shape is not changing. Thus the main identifying characteristic of solid is their rigidity. So one of the most important characteristic of solid is that they are rigid. Solids do not require a container to keep them. For example, see here, picture this stone. You can keep it anywhere, wherever you feel like. But to store this milk, you definitely need a container or a vessel. You can't keep it on a floor, you can't keep it on a table, but you can keep this stone on the table also, or on the floor also. So this rock is and this stone is the example of solid, and this milk is the example of liquid. So what is the liquid? A liquid is the fluid form of matter which occupies the lower part of the container in which it is capped. A liquid does not fill the whole container. So being fluids, liquid require a container to keep them. Now A gas is also an example of fluid because a gas is a fluid form of a matter which fills the whole container in which it is kept. Being fluid, gases also requires container to keep them. A gas does not have a free surface, right? See here, this is the surface of this stone, but gases do not have the surface, and they always need the container, a airtight container in which we can keep the gases. So a gas will escape if kept in open container. For example, I am putting the gas in this container, in this beaker. Then what will happen? Imagine I am putting LPG gas in this. Then what will happen? LPG gas particles will move out and will leave this container, will escape from this container. That's why the gases are usually kept in airtight gas cylinders. For example, cooking gas, that is LPG, is kept in airtight metal cylinders. And from this discussion, we concluded that liquids and gases are known as fluids. They both are fluids because they both can flow, but solids are rigid. And the property of the flowing object, the property of the object due to which its flow, it is called fluidity. So the characteristic of liquid and gases of flowing easily is called fluidity. Due to fluidity, liquids and gases changes their shapes readily when they subjected to the outside force. Let's understand this with one example. Imagine we have 200 ml of liquid and I have given you a round shaped container and I have said that keep this liquid in that container. So you will notice that the liquid will take up the shape according to that container. Now I have said that you keep your liquid in another container and that container is not in round shape. Then you will see that the shape of that liquid is changing. So due to the fluidity, the liquids and gases can change its shape according to the container. Now we will do the states of matter. So students, when we look around us, we see a large number of matter and they are in different states. For example, when we drink water, water is also matter and water exists in all the three states of matter. For example, when it is ice, it is in solid state, and when it is water in liquid state, when we are drinking it, it is in liquid state. And when we are boiling water, then it will form the water vapors, and that water vapors are in gaseous states. So from here we have understood that matter has the states, and the states of matter are solid state, liquid state and gaseous state. On the basis of physical states, all the matter can be classified into three groups: solids, liquids and gases. Now let's see the examples of all these three states. So sugar, sand, iron, wood, rocks, minerals and ice are solids, and water, milk, oil, kerosene, petrol and alcohol are liquids. Air, oxygen, hydrogen, carbon dioxide, and steam are gases. The solid, liquid, and gaseous state of the matter has different properties, and these states of matter arises due to the variation in the characteristics of particles of matter. So we have learned that four characteristics of particles of matter, that they have space between them, they are continuously in motion, and they are very small, and particles of matter attracts each other. Now let's understand these all the things with the help of examples. Matter in all three states, that is solid, liquid and gases, is made up of very small particles, and according to the kinetic theory of matter, particles of matter are continuously moving. And third characteristic of particle of matter is that they have the force of attraction between the particles of matter. Let's understand this with the help of picture. See, here it is particle and here is another particle. So this particle is applying force and attracting it towards this side, right? And this particle is also applying the force and attracting it towards this side. So such kind of force, right, is called interparticle force, and this interparticle force control the movement of these particles. So when these particles are closer and when these particles are nearer to one another, there is the strong force acting between them, right? But when the distance between the particle is increasing, imagine here is the particle and here is another particle. So now the distance between them has been increased. Then the force of attraction between them will decrease, right? And the movement of particle can be increased by increasing the temperature or by heating them, because when we heat them, their kinetic energy will increase and they will do the more movement. So the following properties of particles decide whether a given substance will exist as solid, a liquid or a gas. First of all, the space between the particles. The space between the particles is minimum in solid, little more in liquid and maximum in gases, right? So see here in this picture, the space between the particle is less, very less. That's why it is solid. And now here in this picture, the space between the particle is more than solid. So that's why it is liquid. But in this picture, there is lots of space between the particles of gases. And the force of attraction is also very poor. That's why these particles are very far from one another. And that's why it is gas. The force of attraction between the particles. The force of attraction between the particles are strongest in solid, less strong in liquid and negligible in gases. The amount of movement of particles. The movement of particles is minimum in solids, more in liquids and maximum in gases. So these three things are very important. First, movement of particles, how much the movement particles are showing. So it will help you to find out the state of matter, the distance between the particle, how much distance is there in between the particles. That will help you to find out what is solid, what is liquid and what is gas, and the force of attraction between the particles. So that's all about today's class. Now let's see the homework for today's class. Question number 1 is, what is the general name of A part, rigid form of matter, B part, fluid forms of matter. Question number 2, what is rigid? Question number 3. Why liquids and gases are called fluids? And question number 4. Out of solids, liquids and gases, which one has maximum movement of particles? B part, maximum interparticle attraction. C part, maximum spaces between them. So students, that's all about today's class. I hope the content is clear to you and you are doing your homework too. Very soon we will meet in next class. Till then, bye bye and take care.